We've been talking non-stop about yesterday's terror attack, which killed 4 Israelis and brought an end to the period of relative calm in Israel. Cornel Erez Winner spent years in the Israeli military, and he's here with us today to talk about the current situation in Israel and what the Israeli defense system is doing to stop the wave of terror. Thanks so much for coming in.
Thank you.
So, first of all, a lot of people thought the wave of terror was coming to a close, and then we're hit with this awful attack yesterday. What now?
Well, if you try to be a little bit, I don't know if melodramatic, but maybe that's why they call it waves. It's like the waves.
Sure.
It comes and goes. Terror here in Israel, unfortunately, you can say, never stopped. Since 100 or more years ago, when Jews came back and started to resettle and rebuild their country, we see waves of terror. Sometimes they are harsh, and unfortunately, sometimes they're getting to big clashes, what we call war or operations. And between we have quiet moments, sometimes it's weeks, days, months, years. And unfortunately, we're still in there. We're not yet gone to our paradise. But
Sure.
that's part of our being here, and we have to understand that.
Definitely. Now, this current wave of terror that's occurring right now, it's been nearly 10 months, I believe. Why do you think it's still ongoing?
It's still ongoing because, unfortunately, the basic element that is behind this terror wasn't or isn't dealt properly. Terror, this level of this terror wave is based on, I would say, copycat. Some of those terrorists are looking around. They're looking up north to the ISIS and other Islamic fundamentalistic groups fighting in Iraq and Syria.
Sure.
And they're looking south to ISIS-like organization in Sinai or in Libya, even in south of Jordan. It's all in the web, it's all in the Facebook, it's all live. And those, unfortunately, are their heroes, not Superman or Spider-Man, but John the Jihadist is the hero. And this wave is also based on the incitement. Unfortunately, in Israel, many years, we are looking at this, at the incitement as something that, okay, it's happening. Okay, they're doing, but it's only words. Words don't kill. Unfortunately, words kill. And when you take a little kid, send him to the kindergarten, and you teach him that Israel does not exist, and Jews should be killed and slaughtered, and that's what he's growing up. He's going to a kindergarten. That's what he's being taught. He's going to summer school. He's basically it's a military camp, and etc. And when this build level and layer on layer, and eventually it got to a point that he is a teenager, a little bit older, watch TV or watch some internet show, and he decided that I want to be the next. And you see many of them, before they getting out to those horrible terror attacks, they leave posts that saying more or less what I just mentioned.
So it sounds like a lot of this is digital. They're seeing this from online media. They're talking about it on Facebook, on other mediums. Do you think that's the future of counterterrorism efforts then, is monitoring this digital world?
It's in there for a long time. Intelligence moved during the ages from what we call human resources to all kind of alien, SIGINT, VISINT, and so on. And today you have a whole dimension of war in what we call the cyber dimension. So it's already in there. The problem is that to monitor hundreds of thousands of individuals, it's much more difficult
Sure.
than to try to focus on the Hamas organization in Nablus. But that's what our intelligence services are facing.
Definitely. It sounds like a nearly impossible task. How are they managing, and is there something else they should be doing that you think they're not doing now?
I think that leaving aside the technological efforts that have been done, and Israel is number one in that field, no doubt. It's not far from here in Herzliya. In one side there is young soldiers, 18, 20, sitting and developing all kind of abilities, and then 6 years later they moved to the other side of the road in Herzliya, and all of the innovation and the startup nation, that everything is being built there. So that is important, but that's something that Israel is doing well. I think that there are other elements in this wave of terror that should be dealt better. The first one is the incitement that I just mentioned.
And this is from the Palestinian government, correct? This isn't just random Palestinians speaking and inciting.
It's in the Palestinian Authority media. It's in the curriculum. It's in their books. It's in the books that are being paid by the United Nations, by USAID, and other international money that comes in. It's in their TV, radio, everywhere. So it's in there. And this incitement, for too long, is being dealt and not properly. And this is something that I think should be dealt totally different.
Sure.
The other part, and I think this part is being dealt much better, is try to divide between the very, very small number and percentage of terrorists in the what you call the Palestinian population, and the vast majority of people who just want, like me and you, live their life quietly, bring some food home, and enjoy life. And by not putting up, a whole closure and close up the entire area of Judea and Samaria and so on, but trying to really focus on where are the problems and from where the terrorists came out, and on the other hand, give the majority of the population the ability to work, the ability to move, the ability to bring home the food, the bread and the meat that everybody needs. I think that's something that's been doing very, very well by the current government and leadership of the IDF and the intelligence services. And the last part, which is something that everybody is talking about, but unfortunately not managed to really to carry out, is how you deal with those terrorists and their immediate surroundings. And what the IDF is doing now in Yatta, in south region of Hebron, I think that's something that this is how things should work. You surround this village from whom those two terrorists came out, and you deal with them, with their immediate surroundings. You try to find out where they built this weapon, where did they get the ideas, who helped them, who drove them, etc., and focus on that, and not try to make all the Arabs or all the Palestinians in entire Judea and Samaria enemies.
Well, certainly sounds like we have a lot of things to work on, and also a lot of initiatives that are already underway. Thank you so much for coming in today.
Thank you.